So today I want to talk a little bit about semaphore flags and their practical uses both in puzzle creation and also in treasure hunts. It should only take a couple minutes, but it could be a useful piece in your arsenal if you are building an adventure of your own. Hi, my name's Chris. I go by The Architect. People hire me to build wildly elaborate, immersive treasure scavenger hunts all over the world. I'm currently in the Bahamas. I just ran an adventure here, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about semaphore flags. Semaphore, if you're unfamiliar, was a way that ships used to communicate back before we had radios. Two men would stand probably pretty high up, and different positions would equal different numbers or letters. So that's the basic gist of it. Each number, each letter has its own specific position of where hands go up and where flags go up. So what does this mean for you? One of the biggest problems that I run into, specifically when it comes to treasure hunts, is how do I give enough information to the players to tell them where to go next? When you're solving puzzles in an escape room, oftentimes you solve puzzles, you put things together and pop, some door opens or some compartment opens and you get the next thing. The issue that you have with treasure hunts is they need to make the solve and know where to go next. And oftentimes that involves at least a sentence, if not more. So sometimes we resort to encoding messages, which is great, but you can do better. So in this case, this is where Semaphore comes into play. You're going to encode a message with Semaphore, and then you're going to have your player decode it. And there's a couple different levels you can do. The first and simplest, and this is for someone that's never heard of Semaphore, which is most people because we have phones and we don't need to use flags to communicate. So you could just give them a key somewhere and then give them the little images of the people without the letters beneath it, and they decode. The next step is just having photos of the specific flags in the specific positions. Finally, if you want to take it a step further like I have, you could purchase a set of Semaphore flags, give your players a key, send them to the top of some mountain, and then give them a monocular or binoculars and a compass, and have them look in a certain direction through the binoculars and the compass, and have a human being giving them a message from another mountaintop. I've done it before. It's really cool, but it also is kind of difficult to do. And so I understand that you might not have the resources or bandwidth or friends that want to learn Semaphore enough to be able to give this message. So here's a couple other ways that you can use it. My favorite way to use Semaphore when it comes to a puzzle is equating it to something else. All you need is two lines in two specific directions, and for your players to be aware what Semaphore is. So sometime either in the beginning or around the time they get this puzzle, they can get the key that actually has the decode semaphores. Some puzzle creators or adventure creators love to have players Google information. I personally don't. I really like to make sure that everything is, all the information they need to know is known or given to them. So they don't need outside information. The only thing they really should have to Google is the directions to the address that they get. So I like to give them some little sheet of Semaphore, and then maybe later on they get some type of puzzle and they realize that it interacts. My favorite way to think about using Semaphore isn't necessarily the flags, but think of it as two straight lines in different directions. The coolest and easiest thing is hands on a clock. You can give them a bunch of different analog clocks and set the time at different times, put it all next to each other, and have them realize, okay, hands on a clock equals Semaphore equals this is the message. If you want to take it a step further, you could do digital times that they then have to change to analog times and then change to Semaphore. But keep in mind, this might seem easy to you as you're building it, but you need to make sure that your players understand Semaphore, because they will never in a million years get digital clock to analog clock to Semaphore flag without some type of clues or flavor text or something as well. There's so many other ways that you could do Semaphore. Just looking behind me, you could have trees with branches that face in different directions. One of the members of the Constructed Adventures Agency, which is a group of people that I hire to build puzzles for some of the events, he goes by the Puzzle Smith. his name's Boston Dan. He talked about using stems on apples. So you could have a bunch of apples with the stems in different directions. So all of this just to say, start messing around with the idea of using Semaphore. It's a great way to encode messages. It's unique. A lot of players are so used to things like Morse code, Braille, Pigpen, or Caesar cipher that when you throw Semaphore at them, it's something that they've never seen before. I hope this helps. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. It helps me. If you wish to hire me and send me to the Bahamas to send you or your loved ones on a wild adventure that may or may not use Semaphore flags, reach out on my website. I'd love to build something for you, or I can always consult. If you need a little bump, a little extra help, if you want some one-on-one time with me, you can reach out and I'll consult with you as well. But until next time, happy building.